This is from the start to finish. And I know people have a lot of questions about some other things, and I'll get to them. We knew the Rams could double team up front. If you do not move your guys, if you don't shoot backers into gaps, they will take advantage and double team back, push your linebackers in. And they did that early. And we were trying to shoot some gaps early. It was made for an interesting day. But this is what you're dealing with. Ripping wet ball. They've got a tunnel screen going. This is a first down, easy. Duffs it, bad throw. It's simple. You got outside leverage here with Puka Nacua on, I think that's on Zaire Alexander. And presses the leverage, comes back. Guy makes a good throw and catch. First down. I mean, these guys got a little something going. And now you get these D tackles doing work. I don't know if that's Wyatt or Wooden coming up field, making that play. I mean, TJ Slayton playing off. Let's show that again because that's just putting in work, man. It's awesome. Fighting off the initial backside B all the way over to make the play for your 2-yard gain. That's big time, man. Big time. 2nd and 4. We get the stop you want. And here's where the wheels come off. And we've seen this, as Packer fans. And listen, I feel like the Saints, I feel like the Rams and Sean McVay. I know this is that everybody comes from the Shanahan tree, but it feels like Sean McVay is like the real kind of main tree trunk with the way that they started talking about offense. Maybe it's because he was in LA and how they've been celebrated, how they started talking about offense, how the Jets, this became like a modern part of their game. But you're on a wet field. You get some penetration in the back. Cooper Kupp does a good job of blocking, but I mean, this isn't the game by any means, but like early on, instead of going downhill where you've already had some success, you run laterally on a wet field and you just, it's a thank you for Alexander and the group, So we get the ball. And again, I write not how we drew it up to a little bit flippantly, but you have to remember they do, they write up their first 15. And you see immediately, everybody wants, get Rasheed Walker out of there. He can't do anything right. And, to get this guy in that. Backside, Yash gets beat backside. Gets just swam because you stick your head in too far, right? You got footwork wins and loses matchups. Hoyt gets off the block. We can't get up to the second level because they slant. And Myers and Jenkins don't do a good job of like either making a call or just bumping this off on the go. But we go for nothing. Now, second play of the game, we call this Louis or some L word because the center's going to the left and we're looking at the guy in the slot. The slot's backed up. There's a chance he could go. Yash rides the DN down. Jenkins is there, ready. And they just let the slot go. So now the guy's throwing under. Now we got a quarterback thrown under duress. And he gets it out to Jones, which is great. But he gets, he fights for 2 or 3 yards. So you're a third down thing. Now I love this. You need more of this. And this is what we talk about Sean McVay and maybe, Coach LaFleur is inspired. But getting guys up to full speed or 80% speed on your line in the scrimmage before the ball's hiked. I love this. Look, get going. And now when you run the shallow cross against a drop end or a linebacker, like dude's got no chance. Hoyt's got 97's got no chance of getting in your way. You're going to make that play 10 out of 10 times. That's fantastic. Same thing here with Aaron Jones. Get Aaron moving. This play hits. Even if it doesn't work, just the concept. It's hitting now. You go, if I back this up, you got your tight ends on the line of scrimmage here. You can see down at the bottom, we're hipped off. We're not going backside. They're going to get that slip block. So they get an opportunity to run off the ball together, and they're going to feel more confident about this. They're not going to win all these. They're not, this isn't what they're good at. You can see he's going to get beat right now. But you got Dylan leading the charge, and you've got Aaron Jones already at speed as he receives this ball. And gets this is an 8-yard, 9-yard gain. This is fantastic. Now, backside, don't forget you got Aaron Donald on the field. Okay. And what does it mean when you got Aaron Donald? If I'm EJ, if I'm Jenkins, I have to stay square. I have to cut down my footwork because if I allow Aaron Donald to just drive on Yash's inside shoulder, he's going to beat me every time. And he's so strong that he can just grab. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. He yesterday again is just a demonstration of there's just different levels to this game, and he's on the highest one, man. He's unbelievable. This play. This is a play where we're trying, I always say if you can't dance, don't come to the party. I don't want to invite you. And we got and it's not even his fault. But you got Christian Watson in tight, and this is because their safeties want to come up and make plays. But why not spread them out here? I mean, look at that mess. Look at the mess they got right there. I mean, this is ridiculous. And Watson's got to navigate his way through, and instead they're just going to get a free shot on your running back. Brian Young comes around the backside. We miss on the backside with the tight end. It's just that's bad football, man. It's a 3rd and 1, and you can't get a yard. Listen, let's just get this out of the way. These were awful calls. It's not that they're right or wrong. If your hand or your body's in any part of the neutral zone, it's offsides. Okay? That's not really the issue. The issue is this is done and been done probably now hundreds of times in the National Football League, and they don't call it. You cannot move the goalpost, okay, over the course of years, right? So if any part of your body is in the neutral zone, which is the football, it's an offsides call, offensively or defensively. Now, if you are not going to call it for 2 years and then pull 2 out of your backside in this game, that's not okay. And this is part of a larger issue that we'll talk about later. But the officiating in the National Football League, the inconsistency, the palms up, just what are we doing mentality. And this is not hard. And they called this on Yash, but it's really on JRJ, but it's really not on anybody because you can show 1,000 of these or 100 of these clips with the Philadelphia Eagles that do the exact same thing. And I've been called, I think, 2 or 3 times in the entirety of it. And they've been recent calls. So anyways, they end up getting this, and I'm glad they ran it. But come on, this is just if you want to get rid of the play, this is like one of the subversive, like, oh, hey, we're not going to just say we want to get rid of the play. We're just going to start calling things so it won't work. Anyways, to give the ball back to the Rams, and we get the sack, and then, Gary just had the face mask. Then he gets this call. And so the penalties are racking up. And I didn't know the Green Bay Packers were the most penalized team in the league at 7.4 a game. We actually missed our mark we only got 7 this week. But Gary's offsides here, or they call him offsides. And again, it's another one of those that's kind of close. He's surprised. But I thought we only had 1 sack. And we'll show it here in a second. I was surprised we only had 1. They did a pretty good job protecting. But again, if you don't have any fear, you see those linebackers, man, they're coming. And obviously this is a 3rd and short or a 2nd and short, but they're coming downhill. And even though they get the first year, you love the mentality. Like, hey, we're going to do damage and our safeties can clean up the mess. This is where, again, new quarterback, bad center exchange, tries to make a bad thing worse. There's our 1 sack of the day. Devondre picks it up. Drop zone. Everybody's complaining a couple weeks ago when Devontae Adams is on Preston Smith. You saw it a lot this week. If we go into 12 personnel, which we like to do, they're going to be in their base, which is a 3-4 just like us. What happens? We run a play action. They're only bringing 3. They're dropping 8. 2 defensive ends plus the 6 linebackers and DBs. Nobody's open. You can sit back here all day, but it's like you're only rushing 3, man. You might as well be in a prevent defense. And this is what happens sometimes when you run base defense, which is a 3-4 for these guys, and you've got essentially 5 dudes across the top where you're like, man, everybody's 265 and up. Nice little completion here. And this is the stuff that you want. You'd like to actually see this happen a little bit faster, maybe, but you like to see Okay, let's not just waste a throw. Let's get an easy completion and make it happen. Now, look, everybody's talking about. We'll get to it later, but is Sean, how did Sean Ryan? He was so good and this and that. But it's like, dude, John Runyon Jr. Look at this movement, guys. This is really good. That's big time. Like everybody ate. 91 did a really good job on Myers when he was single blocked. Okay. But he did not do a good job on double teams because he's a rookie and rookies don't do well in double teams. You look at this play, and 90, and I don't think that's 91. I think that might be 92, but that's just good movement, guys. I don't care who you are. It's just good playing. Now you see here, we get a double with Myers and EJ, and then Biosh covers up backside. This is a good hole. That's good movement. Here, 4 or 5 yards off the ball. If I get a double team and knock a guy 4 or 5 yards off the ball, I'm celebrating. Like it's a big deal. It's hard to do in the National Football League. It's not as hard as it used to be. I think with the size of these guys and where they play, but this is a big deal. That's a good run for a guy. You get in nickel, you force their safeties to make tackles. You just have to address the people up front. And I thought for the most part, we did a pretty good job of that. And then you see the same thing where you capitalize on mistakes. They have a bad count here. By that, I mean, this safety is not in the box yet. So he's 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. They have nobody in the plus A. There's just every scheme is sound if you have a gap covered, if a man covering a gap. They don't have it. They have no man in their gap. He's 10 yards deep. That's why that play goes. So if you're going to make that mistake, if the safety's not going to come down, take advantage. And that's what good teams do. You see 91's on Myers here. And this is the hard block for Myers. Now, if you cannot, I went back too far, but if you're going to step underneath yourself and they get a little bit of a crossover step, you're too high into contact and you just can't control this move. You want to be able to lock this guy out and drive vertically, and you keep your head across, but you have to keep the pressure so he can't shuck you. And if the closer you are, the easier it is to shuck the guy. So we end up making the play there. It's a good play by that young man. He's a rookie. And then we bring in Sean Ryan. He does a nice job here. Him and Zach Tom on the backside of just letting these guys go with the flow. And again, I don't know how these plays work if Aaron Jones isn't in the backfield making the right reads and cuts. He just does a little bit better job with some of the stuff than AJ. But it all looks great. And this is what I'm talking about with Aaron Jones. Luke Musgrave's beat here. 97 has everything he wants. He's pressed inside leverage. He has his gap. He can play gap and a half. He's extended out. He has everything he wants. But because Aaron's so good and he comes up close and stutters, gives him that work right there, and then jump cuts over, he can't react fast enough. This is where a really good player elevates. When you say like he's elevating the game of everybody else, that's what Aaron Jones is doing, right? He's making a marginal or maybe a not a good block into a winning touchdown. Okay. This was a 3rd and 9 in the next series, and we had just talked about why not get Rashawn Gary to stand up in the middle and get more of a run. And I love that they did this. Okay. And they brought 5. Devondre Campbell's over playing left defensive end now. The problem is that Devondre, you have to be smart. You know that they're going to count Rashawn Gary. And so the right tackle is going to step down 99 times out of 100 here. And they're going to kind of go bigs on bigs. They might go 5 on 5, but if they don't, then that back's coming over to you. You have to make a beeline to the quarterback here. Valentine makes a play on this break, and they're doing that bunch release that we showed earlier last week. But you're kind of wiggling and waggling, man. You got to get out, and I'm going to play this at full speed. You got to run this guy over. Just go. What are we waiting for? You're not juking anybody. Just go. It's go time. Nice play by the young man. He was excited. He was so excited that play that he ran off the field. It was fantastic. I just hit the wrong button. So it was 3rd and 9, so we get off the field. We're back here, and this is the first deep pass, and he missed this one. He hit one early. He hit one later. Here's the thing. This is where they can get a little bit better. If it's even, it's leaving. This is what Jordan Love's got to be thinking and talking to Christian Watson. Hey, if you're even with the guy, ball's leaving, right? I'm throwing it. So you're on the 30. This ball should be out. You see the safety at the top of the screen, right? That means they're playing single safety because this guy's not covering you, obviously, right? He's got chest to the ball. He's not going to turn and run. So we're just fighting. You've already got this guy beat, and you've got basically the top of the bottom of the numbers all the way to the sideline now because you're going to get covered. You're going to get leverage on him. You have room to throw this ball. You just have to throw it away from the safety coming across, but you got to let the ball go now. And I don't know if I don't know why the time is off because it's not like Jordan doesn't have the arm here, but for whatever reason, he just doesn't quite get the job done. Again, we talk about no fear. You're coming downhill. And now you see McDuffie coming downhill, making the play here. Just playing aggressive around the line of scrimmage. I just love it. This play, Valentine, just seeing it. This is a bad play design by the Rams. I don't know what they're thinking that Noblin can get out there on the corner, but what a great job of reacting. I mean, the play speed there by Valentine, the identification and the play speed was phenomenal. I don't know this is the one. He gets so excited, he starts running off the field. They're like, nah, dude, it's only 2nd down. So this is something that the Green Bay Packers did this week, and it worked really well to kind of defeat the double team problems that a lot of teams have against the LA Rams. They started running TE games in the run game. And they were just run stunts. And all that means is that right now, the 96 Wooden is going to go through the B gap. Hardy's kind of out charging to the B gap. And then I think that's looking at Lucas Van Ness. He's going to come up and under. So if you don't have your footwork right, the tackle can't block back and help that out charge on the B. And the guard ends up getting beat a lot in plays like this. So you see Avila's like, he's screwed, right? Because basically 96, if I'm trying to reach you and you're trying to run that way upfield as well, like I have a really hard time all of a sudden. You're not reading my hat. You're just going to the spot. It's almost like you know where the play is. And so this is a really good thing to do. And they did this intermittently during the game to kind of screw up blocking schemes because now you don't really have that inside help anymore because the guy's running outside at a clip. You're forcing cutback, but who are you cutting back into if you don't have a call for it? You're cutting back into the end who's rocked underneath. Now you see Cooper Kupp here. He's thinking like, man, maybe should I block or should I at least yell at Enigbari and try to do something to help Tyler Higbee here? And he ends up having to block the safety, but Enigbari just makes a play on Higbee and makes a play in the backfield here. This is a PAP, guys. This is a pretty arrogant play call. And here's why I'm saying that, man, because Sean McVay's a genius. But Cooper Kupp's in no position right now to crack block to do anything. He's kind of in no man's land. And Enigbari I don't even know if he knows he's there. He certainly doesn't care that he's going to get chipped or anything or cracked. And there's no way that, like, you would send a pulling guard to do this. You're not sending Tyler Higbee over here to be kind of the lead blocker on what really is an inside handoff off of the gun look. I mean, this is like a no way deal. They're hoping maybe he's running upfield. I don't know what they're hoping, but this seems pretty arrogant to think that Tyler Higbee is going to be able to make this play 9 times out of 10. Great play by Enigbari. Just doing your job. That's all we got to do. Same thing here with the TE game. They do it on both sides. You're going to see it from Rashawn Gary. See who's coming underneath, and you see it from Preston Smith. He's also coming underneath. And they're just doing a run stunt and then having TJ Slayton play to the center's first step. And all it does is it disrupts the timing of the play. And now you see Preston Smith is just wide open to make plays in the hole. This isn't going to win all the time, and you can get gashed. But the Rams offensive line has not demonstrated anything this season to suggest that they're prepared to take that. What they do well is double team. So force them to single block, and you might have some problems with redirection. We've got a 1st and 10 look. And this is, again, Aaron Donald. Eldon Jenkins is our best lineman. And Aaron Donald, it's for the size, the power, the leverage. You see Eldon's hands are outside, and it's like he literally just throws him off right here. It's not like he's falling into that tackle. He's bench pressing our 320-pound guard off of him and then just standing there waiting for the tackle. The guy is just unbelievable, man. Talked about the soft zone last week. You see up top here. Now we didn't have to do a switch release, and they didn't do any motion to kind of make this easier. They didn't feel like they had to. So soft zone, you just run the quick outs. Good little play here for Dobbs. That's all you need. Now, big presence coming during the holiday season, and this didn't necessarily happen with all the quarterbacks I played with. Did happen with some, but during the holiday season, offensive linemen often receive nice gifts from the quarterback. And if you keep him healthy and upright, the nicer the gifts you get. And maybe if your quarterback puts you in continuous positions where you get yelled at in the media for giving up sacks when maybe they didn't need to be sacks, you should get bigger presents. Now, this is a situation where you should get a bigger present because Jordan Love should not take a sack here. Throw the ball, please. Or run to freedom here. Do something. We talked about it during the week. If they're not going to spy you and they're going to bring 4 or 5, there will be rush lanes. And if it's not there, just go make a play with your legs. The opportunities are going to be there. The rush lanes are going to be there. For whatever reason, he decides not to. And you end up giving up a sack. And now Zach Tom's got a sack. You know, PFF goes, oh, Zach Tom gave up a sack. No, he didn't. Not at all. Got motion, got trips with a chip out. What a phenomenal catch. I wanted to highlight this route. It's super interesting. So they got outside leverage. If you're at the top of the numbers, I'm talking about where you're starting from a receiver standpoint, that defender knows that the sideline is now open for business. He's outside leverage, and he knows that Dobbs can either take a post route, but he can the door is open to try to get it out. So what does he do? He runs like almost like he's going to run a chair route, right? And it's kind of a lazy chair. And then what is it? Now he breaks. So he goes to like the corner comeback. I forgot what they call that. There's a fancy name for it. Not fancy. But great route. Great job getting open.